Awesome. Okay. Looks like we're live. All right. Sonya, thank you so much for joining me today on this preview of Exploring Mind and Body.
Yeah, there's nothing like a good sneak preview before a podcast, especially a video one.
This is actually our first time doing a little preview, so I'm super excited. Thank you so much for experimenting with us.
Totally. Happy to be here. I just finished a ride, so I literally just walked in and I thought I'm just gonna show up as me because like this is how a lot of people know me. So
Very cool. So why don't you tell me, so Sonya Looney, for our viewers that are checking out the video, she's a professional mountain biker, world champion. Sonya, why don't you tell us what that entails and how you became a professional mountain biker?
yeah, so I'm the 2015 endurance world champion, and so there's a race, and there's different disciplines, different races. So I won the world championship for 24-hour racing. So that means that you ride your bike, you race your bike for 24 hours straight without stopping. And I don't really focus on that discipline anymore. Now I do primarily like 5 to 7 day stage races, which means it's like kind of like Tour de France. And every day, whenever you do a race, it's like a set start and finish. And then whoever has the fastest time over 5 to 7 days wins the race. And I'm actually going to one next week in Pennsylvania called the Transylvania Epic, and it's a 5-day race. So I've been getting ready for that.
Wow, very cool. Tell us about it. It's a 5-day race?
Yeah, so like a lot of these races, that's actually a short one, which is kind of nice. They're normally 7 days, and I do them all over the world. So I did one in New Zealand earlier this year. But usually you're racing 3 to 4 hours a day. Some of the other stage races I've done in like South America in particular, some of the races is like 8 hours. It's like 5 to 8 hours a day. So it really just depends. But this one's a little bit more forgiving. But basically you ride a different course every single day. So it's awesome because as a mountain biker, there's a lot of different elements of mountain biking. There's technical riding. There's all different types of technical riding. There's like rocks or like loose stuff or like routes. And I think stage racing, especially technical stage racing, is a great way to measure your ability, not only as being a fit endurance athlete, but also from a skills perspective. And that's something that I love about mountain biking is that it's really your skills, you're rewarded by that. And it's so fun.
Wow, that's crazy. All right, so I want to ask you some more questions because you got so much going on there, but just so our viewers know, if you have any questions for Sonya while we're talking, she'll answer them for you. I'll put them up on the screen. If you have any questions about professional mountain biking, maybe she's going to tell you about plant-based nutrition a little bit and about her workout routine as well. So if you guys have any questions while we've got her live here, just let us know and we'll carry on. So Sonya, tell me about the nutrition that you're kind of involved in right now as you lead up to a race that you have planned already.
Yeah, so as you mentioned, I eat a plant-based whole foods diet, and I have for the last 4 years. And when I changed my diet, I actually got faster and my recovery times got shorter because there's less inflammation in your body when you're not eating meat, dairy, and eggs. But leading into a race, I don't really change a whole lot because I focus on I don't eat processed foods and I try not to eat too many sweets, but leading up to a race, I definitely cut back on the treats and I cut way back on alcohol as well. And I have a winery, so I get free wine, which is awesome. But I try not to drink very much the 2 weeks leading up to the race.
So tell me about the winery. You own a winery or work on a winery?
I'm sponsored by them. So this is what this freak show is. It's one of their wines. So it initially was a Cabernet Sauvignon, but now they make a freak show blend. So the winery is Michael David Winery, and like people know them because of Seven Deadly Zins, which is like one of their more popular wines as well, and they're in California. But yeah, so I get free wine, and it's really good wine. It's like awesome wine. So it's hard whenever your favorite wine, like you get as much of it as you want, but you're like, oh, if I drink this, I'm gonna get slower. So I probably shouldn't drink too much of this.
So is it difficult for you to cut back while you're training or while you're on a stricter diet leading up to a race?
It's not difficult because like I don't really drink a whole lot. Like if I have drinks, it's like 1 or 2 drinks because I have a really low tolerance. It's more socially, like people love going out for a drink or they love coming over for a drink. So it can be a little bit awkward if you don't want to drink, because a lot of social gatherings are around alcohol. So if you don't want to drink, you have to figure out other things you can do, or things you can do to make other people comfortable, because it makes other people uncomfortable if you're out, having dinner, or they come over and they're drinking and you're not. So it's managing that.
Right. So that's a challenge for everyone, I suppose, even for our listeners or viewers that are looking to live a healthy lifestyle. Anytime that you're trying to clean up your diet, that environment plays such an important role.
Yeah, like surrounding yourself with people who are eating the same way that you are and can support those eating habits, whatever they may be. Mine just happen to be plant-based, or like not drinking or not eating dessert. I think that it's important to have treats in your life, but being able to be moderate that is good. Oh, I see we have a question. Dorothy.
You showing that popped up there for you?
Yeah, I see it. So I would like to know some mental tricks that you use when you are pushing through some tough times mentally or physically in a race. Awesome. Well, first of all, I'll post a link because I wrote an article for active.com just recently on mental toughness as a racer. But basically, it's all about your attitude. So it's how you choose to perceive what's happening to you. So if you're in a race, it doesn't have to be mountain biking. It could be anything or any type of sport. When things aren't going your way, if you start telling yourself a negative story, it starts propagating in a negative way. You start focusing on all the negative things. So an example is like, say you had a flat tire in the race, or you made a mistake, or like if you're a baseball player, say you struck out. You have to get yourself back into a positive mental space. So you can't dwell on those negative things that happened. And you have to just bring yourself back to the present and focus on what you need to do right now to get through exactly what's happening to you right now, instead of dwelling on what just happened. And if you are just kind of stuck, if it hurt, like in endurance sports, there's a lot of pain involved because you're pushing your body and you're pushing aerobically in so many different ways, focusing on other things around you. So like I'll try and periodically listen for the birds chirping, or look around for a second to break that cycle. And then you have to start telling yourself things like, instead of saying, oh, this hurts, oh, this sucks, you have to start saying like, I'm strong, and everybody else is hurting if I'm hurting too. And when you're thinking like, oh my gosh, I still have this long to go in the race, break it up into shorter distances. So like for me, I do 100-mile mountain bike races, like 160 kilometers, which is a long time, and you're out there for 8 hours. So I break it down into like 10-mile segments, or like aid station to aid station. So breaking things up into bite-sized chunks really helps mentally get through that.
So that could work in any kind. Like, for example, we have runners that come on for interviews, or some people that we work with are longer distance runners, and we know ultra runners, for example. So that could help in other areas of fitness or sport as well.
Yeah, and especially like when you're doing ultra sports, you have to know that it's not going to go awesome the whole time. Like there's going to be times where you feel awful, and it doesn't matter who you are. Even at the top of the sport, there are days where you just want to quit and you just want to give up, even the top pros. And it's just pushing through it and knowing that it will change, knowing that those feelings are normal, and accepting those feelings instead of trying to push them away and say, why am I thinking this way? Just say like, it's okay to feel this way, and it's temporary, and I just have to keep going.
All right, so those of our viewers are coming in and out as usual for Facebook Live feeds. And I just wanted to kind of recap. So we have Sonya Looney, and she's a world champion professional mountain biker. And she's coming on Exploring Mind and Body here this week. And we thought we'd do a little live preview for you guys to check out. So I just want to mention a couple of our stations because we're going up all week. So tomorrow, for example, do we have a question?
No, she just said thanks, I think.
So there was a comment on a different post, but so we have Thursday. This is tomorrow. We have CKLU 96.7. That's going to go up at 6:30 Eastern time. And then on Thursday again, we have CFRC 101.9. That's at 7:30 Eastern time. So that's going to go up on those two stations. Then we'll mention a couple more here in a bit. But again, we have Sonya Looney here checking out, talking about professional mountain biking. Is that like, do people say, is that a real thing? Like, I didn't know that there are professional mountain bikers out there.
Yeah, I mean, it is like a big sport across the world, and in Europe particularly, it's massive. Like, it's more popular than like football. But yeah, I mean, actually, there was something that happened recently where there was a 13-year-old girl in Texas, and she wanted to write a paper on me because she looks up to me, and her like, there's a high school mountain bike league, there's mountain biking in college as well, mountain bike race teams. But her PE teacher said to her, "Well, you can't write on mountain biking because it's not a real sport." And her mom emailed me about this and said, "Hey, like, my daughter wanted to write a paper on you because she looks up to you, and this is what her PE teacher said. So what do you think of that? What should we do?" So I said, well, first of all, like, we need to look at this from, like, why is this person saying this? Because we as mountain bikers feel offended that they don't think that it's a real sport whenever it's like a crazy hard sport, and it is a real sport. So I said, well, maybe this PE teacher has never heard of mountain biking, because a lot of people haven't, because it is kind of like not in the mainstream category, it's in the extreme sports category. And that was the case, actually. The PE teacher hadn't really heard of mountain biking before. So we were able to educate one person that mountain biking is an Olympic sport. There's tons of different world championships for all different disciplines within mountain biking. And there are like thousands and thousands of mountain bikers worldwide, and races in almost every country.
Wow. So, well, I suppose, is it growing here more in North America as the years go on, or is it kind of a difficult thing to get going?
Yeah, I mean, I think like with mountain biking, people are intimidated because it's technical and they're afraid that they're going to fall off and get hurt. But mountain biking recreationally, maybe not in racing as much, but recreationally, it's growing very quickly, even way more than road biking. I was at a bicycle leadership conference earlier this year, and it's cool how many people are getting out there and buying a bike, particularly because like the roads are dangerous now. Like, there's, how many times do we hear about people getting hit by a car? Like, even if you're out running on the road, a friend of mine died this year because a driver hit him while he was running on the road. Just with all the distracted driving, it's actually safer to be on a trail.
So if someone wanted to get into mountain biking, what would you tell them, or how could they get started into trying this out?
I'd say go to your local bike shop, because you want to go, like, almost all of us that started is because we went riding with somebody. And bike shops have demo programs. They have bikes that you can demo or rent. They have like group rides you can go on. They have beginner rides you can go on. So it's just like plugging yourself into a community. And Canada has amazing mountain biking. And in particular, like BC has some of the best mountain biking in the world, and most people don't know that. So definitely it's a great sport, and people are so inclusive and so friendly, and like mountain bikers are just happy to see other people on the trail. So it's a great community to be involved in.
Where were you born?
I was born in Albuquerque, New Mexico.
So did you move from New Mexico to BC to mountain bike?
Well, I moved from New Mexico to Colorado, and I lived there for 8 years. I went to grad school there, and I got my master's in electrical engineering and pursued like professional, because they're in like the mecca of endurance sports. Like almost every single person there on like a weeknight race has some sort of like world championship or like mega race win under their belt. So I put myself in an environment where I knew that I would have to really up my game and really surround myself with people that could support what I was doing and that had the same mindset as I did. And I think that's important whenever you're pursuing a goal, is to surround yourself with people that have the same goals and ideas as you do, and will support you instead of tear you down. But I moved to BC from Colorado about 3.5 years ago because I met a guy at a bike race, BC bike race in Vancouver. It was my first time to BC. And we ended up like months and months after the race, like reconnecting. And then I moved to BC, and then I loved it. So yeah.
That's kind of a big move. Was it scary for you?
Actually, it wasn't. It's really weird. Like I've never like been a spontaneous person, or like, especially for a relationship, I would never just like drop everything and just leave for somebody else. But for whatever reason, this time, we didn't even talk about it. It was just like we just started I just started moving, and it just was so natural. Like, it was just weird. Like, I asked my husband, Matt, he's not my husband, like, hey, did we even talk about me moving here? Because I feel like I just moved here, and it just was so natural. So for me, like, I didn't even think about it. It just felt right, and it was my gut feeling, and I went with it. And yeah, it was the right thing for sure.
Awesome. So those of you that are just tuning in, we have Sonya Looney with us. She's a world champion professional mountain biker, and we have her on her full interview coming up this week on a couple different stations. A couple of them, one of them locally here in Olds is on 96.5 CKFM. That's going up on at 8 p.m. on Sunday evening, and then way over there on the East Coast, we're going up in Sussex on 590 CJCW. Whoa, that's a tough one. CJCW at 7:30 a.m. So we're kind of all over. We're actually on 4 different days of the week. So it's super cool. And we're going to be able to broadcast our interview, Sonya, all across Canada. So again, I want to thank you.
Thanks for the opportunity.
Absolutely. It's our pleasure. So, we got Chantel said hello. Hi, Chantel. Thanks for coming in to check out the show. Or not the show. So Sonya, anything else you could tell us about mountain biking? I do want to keep this shorter just because we have a full interview coming up on air, but is there anything else you wanted to share with us regarding mountain biking in general?
Yeah. And I mean, it's kind of like a general statement, but like, I didn't know mountain biking was a sport growing up. I was a pro, like I wanted to be a pro tennis player. I played that all through high school, and I loved tennis. And I just kind of randomly found mountain biking because I like ran a marathon when I was 18, and I started doing spin class at the gym as like cross training. And some guys invited me to go mountain biking, and it completely changed my life. I mean, I thought that I was going to be a runner and just be this electrical engineer person. And I didn't know that I was going to travel to more than, like, I've been to over 20 countries. I've seen the world. I never, ever thought that my life would be where it is today. So I love mountain biking, and I think that everyone should mountain bike. But if it's something that you want to try, like, this is what I've learned from mountain biking. If there's something you're interested in, go for it, because you like that little small step could be the biggest step you take in your entire life, and there's no way you can know unless you take it. So definitely go for it. And like, if it's mountain biking, if it's rowing, if it's, I don't know, starting your own business, like, just go for it, because it really does start snowballing, especially if you believe in yourself.
Do you think that once you took that, I don't know if you took a plunge or if it was more natural, but when you made that transition from electrical engineer to more competitive, then into professional, do you feel like your quality of life increased and maybe more doors started to open up for you?
Yeah, definitely. I think that there is a science behind success and happiness, and there's an awesome book called The Happiness Advantage by Sean Acor, and it's one of my favorite books. But it talks about, like, if you're doing things that you love in your life and you're happy, you're going to be more successful. This author, he's also a researcher. He travels the world to all these like Fortune 500 companies and speaks about happiness, and companies making sure that they're doing things to make sure that their employees are happier, because if the employees are happier at work, they're actually more successful at work as well. Yeah,
that's it. What was that book again?
It's called The Happiness Advantage by Sean Acor. And if you guys like audiobooks, he reads his own book, and he's a great speaker. And he also has like one of the most famous TED Talks. So if you just like go to TED Talks and look up Sean Acor, his TED Talk is really cool too. It's Achor.
And he talks about the same thing in his TED Talk?
Yeah, he talks, his entire book, The Happiness Advantage, is about all of the research in psychology and happiness, and how happiness makes you more successful. So it's like my favorite book. Yeah.
That's I think so many of us would be much more happier in life if we followed our passion. Unfortunately, we let that fear get in the way, and I really think that fear holds us back from accomplishing the things that we want to in life.
Yeah, definitely. It's like, at the end of the day, like, if I died tomorrow, I would have zero regrets in my life, because I've very carefully and very, like, from a self-awareness standpoint, it's like I work really hard to make sure that I'm doing the things that I want to do, and I'm taking the risks, and I'm doing the work, because life is too short, and we got to do those things that we love. Yeah,
I mean, if you live your life without having regrets, without ever looking back, I mean, I feel like you've already found that success. You've already reached your goal that we should all have, and live happy and healthy and whole.
Yeah, and I mean, I also have my own podcast called The Sonya Looney Show, and I had a guy I interviewed 2 days ago, and he said he didn't find his passion until he was 34 years old. Like, he was like a web developer, like doing all these other things, and all of a sudden his passion was YouTube and creating mountain bike travel videos on YouTube. And it was like amazing. It's like all these doors open for him. He quit his full-time job and now he's completely self-sufficient creating YouTube videos. And he's so happy and so alive because of it. So once you not everybody's going to find their passion immediately, but if you keep working in that direction and doing things that you're interested in, you might find that you're really passionate about something.
Awesome. No doubt. All right, Sonya, can you direct our viewers to any website that you have or anywhere you want to send them?
Yeah, my website is www.sonyalooney.com, and on there, all my social media channels are at the bottom, and I'm very active on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I also have a YouTube channel, and it's Sonya Looney MTB, and my goal is to get a weekly video up, and I started that goal this week. And my podcast, and it's the Sonya Looney Show. It's on iTunes, Stitcher, and Google Play. So I'd love to connect with you guys. I'm really honored to be here.
And how often are you putting out your podcast?
Once a week.
Once a week. Okay, awesome. All right, so check out our full interview. The full interview is going to be up on exploringmindandbody.com, but we're going to be live or on air across the country here, again on Thursday, then a couple times on Sunday. And then we're all over. We're on Monday and Tuesday as well. So hopefully you guys get a chance to listen on there. If not, you can head over to exploringmindandbody.com to check out the full link. Again, that's going to be on iTunes as well, so you can download there. Thanks again, Sonya. I appreciate it. I'm looking forward to releasing our show, and all the best with your career and everything else you have going on.
Yeah, thanks a lot. I'll be posting all my adventures on my social media, so make sure you don't miss out.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
All right, I just hit, oh, wait.